Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to Therapeutic Yoga class today. So today's focus on class is something that we all use every single day, and that is our hands and our wrists. So I wanted to give a quick little shout out to a book. We're going to be performing some of the exercises with a little bit of a yoga flair that are in this book today. But the book is called Save Your Hands. Now, I can tell you, I have been a physical therapist for a very long time now, and I give this book as a gift to every student, every resident that I have worked on throughout the year. So if you've spent any time with me in the physical therapy world, you've probably gotten this book from me as a gift. But really, even though this book is intended for manual therapists, this book can help anyone prevent injury in their hands, particularly those things that start happening to us with aging, like arthritis to our wrists, like trigger fingers to our fingers, fractures to our wrists with falls. We were going to do some things today to strengthen our wrists and increase the density of those bones. Carpal tunnel, nerve tension, so something called double crush injury, which means that your nerves in your arms are compressed in your wrists and hands and compressed in your neck. Major problem for those of us that do a lot of sitting or that use our hands all day long. So we're going to be tackling a lot of different things simply with a therapeutic yoga class focusing on the wrists and the hands. So let's get started. What you need for class today, obviously a yoga mat when we get down there. We're going to start in sitting. So some sort of chair, it does not matter. It does not matter if it has arms or anything like that. In fact, if you wanted to, for the beginning of class, you could place your bolster on the floor right now and have a seat on that and be perfectly fine to do everything that we are doing in sitting on your bolster. But grab yourself a bolster, particularly for those that have weaker hands and or wrists, so that some of the things that we're doing, if you need to take a rest, you'll be able to, when we get down on the mat, rest your hands and be on your forearms on that bolster. Finally, a couple of face cloths, something that you can use as an assist for your wrists. And I'm going to show you how to do that when we get down to the floor. And then a yoga strap or something that we can use as a pretend resistance tool and to also use an assist in our sitting poses today. So that yoga strap, don't throw it down to the floor if you're sitting in a chair, because you're going to be using it in a few minutes sitting to do your exercises. Okay, so find yourself comfortably sitting in a chair. That's where I would recommend. But again, bolster is fine if you want to. Have it so that half of your legs are on the chair, half of your legs are off of the chair. Now, in this position, allow yourself to take a nice deep inhale, roll your pelvis forward, stick your belly out, lengthen upward with your rib cage, squeeze your shoulder blades, lengthen your neck, and gaze all the way up. Once you get there, exhale. Pull that tailbone under, pull that abdomen in, curl that rib cage under, spread those shoulder blades, lengthen the back of the neck, chin into your chest. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhale, find that modification of cow pose and sitting. Really think about squeezing those shoulder blades, lengthening through that chest and neck. As you exhale, let yourself curl all the way under. Get that chin to the chest, lengthen through that neck, spread through those shoulder blades. And one more time here, inhaling, lengthen all the way through the front of that body. And then as you exhale, lengthen all the way through the back of the body. You really pull that chin into your chest just one time, guys. And then slowly bring yourself back up into the seated position. Now, once you're in a seated position, feel your sit bones. Once you know that you've got yourself on your sit bones, sit up nice and tall, shoulder blades back and down, and then use your hips and just hinge yourself a little bit over so that you feel some extra weight down into your feet. Now, how do you know you're in the right efficient sitting position? Using your pelvic floor, not your back muscles, as your sitting base of support. Well, just try to pick your feet up right now. If you can pick up your legs, you've got too much weight back there into your low back. If you can't pick up your legs, I cannot pick up my legs, that means I have sufficient weight into my legs and my feet, and they are part of my base of support. Okay, let's start working on these hands and wrists. So we're going to start with some gentle range of motion of our wrists and our fingers and thumbs. So bring your hands in a position like you're opening a tray. Then in that position, start to inhale, and as you inhale, start doing some clockwise or counterclockwise movements with your wrists. Maybe you do them both symmetrically clockwise, both symmetrically counterclockwise. But as I'm talking to you, just keep breathing, inhaling and breathing, exhaling. And then change your direction. So maybe alternate your clockwise and counterclockwise with both of your wrists. So just increasing nutrition, increasing blood flow, starting to get all of those bones of our wrist joints and our hands and our fingers moving. And then take a break from doing that, keeping your elbows resting at 90 degrees. Take an inhale and open your hands and thumbs nice and wide. And then as you exhale, make some fists. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhale, open and spread nice and wide. And exhale and fist nice and tight. And inhale, spread nice and wide. And exhale and fist nice and tight. All right, quick little non-weight bearing stretch for the wrist joints and the forearm muscles. Take your hands and bring your hands down into Anjali Mudra. So prayer pose here. So as you're doing that, allow yourself to have the thumbs touching towards your chest, elbows approximately 90 degrees, shoulder blades back and down. Each of your fingers touching each of the opposing fingers on the opposite hand. Holding right here for a second, take a deep inhale into your belly. And exhaling out. Slow, deep inhale into the belly. And exhaling out. All right, a little bit of a nerve glide here. So just take everything that you have from your fingers and hands and turn them underneath. So turn them down. As you do that, feel that stretch to the outer part of your wrist joints, outer part of your forearm. Hold that downward prayer pose. Take a deep inhale into your belly. Exhaling out. And one more time, nice deep inhale in. And exhaling out. And then slowly bring those fingertips back up and release your prayer pose. Take your right hand and bring your right hand straight out at shoulder height. Once you have it there, turn the fingertips downward, palms straight down towards the toes. Left hand grab the top of the wrist joint. Take a nice deep inhale, and as you exhale, pull that wrist down nice and straight. Index finger, have it that it's the index finger that's pointed straight downward. Elbow, straighten it a little bit more. There's the stretch, those extensors. Those of you with past history of tennis elbow, this is where it's at. Take a deep inhale into your belly. Exhaling out. Slow, deep inhale into the belly. And exhaling out. You've got it. Releasing the right hand, left arm, bring it up to shoulder height, elbow nice and straight. Turn those fingertips downward as you bend through your wrist. Right hand, bring it up and hold on to the top of the left hand here. Nice deep inhale. As you exhale, push those fingertips down further. Take a look at the second finger is the one that's pointed all the way downward. Now, straighten through that elbow. Yeah, there's your wrist extensors. Hold yourself right here. Check in that your shoulder blade is down, back and down. No nerve tension through the neck, please. Take a deep inhale into your belly. And exhaling out. Slow, deep inhale into the belly. And exhaling out. All right, release that hand. Just a little bit of a stretch through the shoulders here. So variation on cow face pose. So take your right hand and bring your right hand all the way behind the small of your back. Take your left hand and bring it all the way up from the back of you until you get your fingertips touching. Now, if you cannot get your fingertips touching, grab that yoga strap that's in your lap, bring it back behind you so that you can use your strap to be what it would be if your fingertips are touching. In that position, either touching your fingertips one to another or holding that strap one hand to the other. Gently pull your rib cage downward, look down at your toes. Take a nice deep inhale, lift the right elbow upwards towards the ceiling. On the exhale, left elbow, pull it into your rib cage. Yeah, get that stretch between both shoulders there, guys. Maybe a nice big smile on your face. Take a deep inhale into your belly here. And exhaling out. Slow, deep inhale into the belly. And exhaling out. Wonderful. Releasing cow face pose through those arms and those shoulders on that side. Moving to the opposite side. So left hand down into the small of your back here. Right hand down and up away from the low back area, getting those fingertips touching one another on the opposite side. Again, if they don't touch, take that yoga strap. Place that yoga strap behind you so that it can aid you in having hands to hands. I am much tighter on this side, so I am going to use my yoga strap. Now, once you're there, pull that rib cage down, look down at your feet. Left elbow, pull it up towards the ceiling. Right elbow, pull it in towards the rib cage. Okay, here we go. Lengthen the neck, maybe put a smile on your face. Take a deep inhale into your belly here. And exhaling out. Slow, deep inhale into the belly. And exhaling out. You've got it. Slowly begin to release those hands. Strap, take it away, move it, keep it in your hands or in your lap here. We're going to be using it in just a minute. But those of you that have had a history of neck pain and some sort of wrist issue or elbow issue, so be it golfer's elbows, tennis elbow, carpal tunnel, some sort of nerve issue in the lower half of your hands and arm, and some sort of neck issue, this is the exercise for you from a prevention standpoint, wellness standpoint, as well as treatment standpoint. So we're going to work on lengthening and loosening up the nerves of our entire arms here. So we're going to start with our median nerve. So what I want you to do is take your right arm out to the side of your body. Once you have your right arm out to the side of your body, check in that your wrist is straight for a moment, elbow is straight, and everything lines up with your right shoulder. Now lengthen through your neck, settle through your chin. Take your shoulder blade and pull your shoulder blade back and down. And then very, very gently start to lengthen your arm behind you just until you start to feel a bit of tension, likely in your forearm or chest area, wherever that is for you. Now, the next thing I want you to do is slowly and intentionally place your fingertips upward like you would be saying, stop. You should be feeling some amount of stretch and tension into your right arm now. Hold that stretch and tension into your right arm. We're going to move our head with breath. So take an inhale, take your right ear to your right shoulder. You may feel that tension goes away a little bit. As you exhale, take your left ear to your left shoulder. If you've got nerve tension, you'll feel it increase right here. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhaling. Right ear to right shoulder. Exhaling, left ear to left shoulder. And finally, inhaling, right ear to right shoulder. Exhaling, left ear to left shoulder. Slowly inhale, bring your head back up. Exhale, relax that arm down, maybe a couple of circles of that shoulder. And let's move on to the opposite side. So take the arm first, straight out at shoulder height. Check in that your wrist is straight. Check in that your elbow is straight. Then once you've got yourself in this position, lengthen through your neck, settle through your chin, take your shoulder blade, pull it back and down. Now, keep all of that and just very slowly start to pull your arm back behind you. You will find a point where you either get tension in the chest, or if you've got nerve tension in your arm, tension in your forearm. Now keep yourself right there. Again, you're making that stop sign with your left hand here. So don't change your neck, shoulder blade, or arm position. Keep your elbow straight. Gently start to lift the fingertips upward towards the ceiling. Stop. When you get that, you should feel some tension through your arm if you have increased nerve tension. Now let's take care of treating it and preventing it from ever getting any worse. Take an inhale, take your left ear to your left shoulder. Keep that elbow straight, guys. Exhale, allow the right ear to go to the right shoulder. Keep that stop sign happening 2 more times. Inhaling, left ear, left shoulder. Exhale, exhale, right ear, right shoulder. Okay, just 1 more time. Inhale, left ear, left shoulder. Exhale, right ear, right shoulder. Inhale the head back to the center. Exhale, relax the arm down. Do a couple of circles with that. All right. So for those of you that have any sort of issues with neck, carpal tunnel, tennis, golfer's elbow, that's what you need right there. But we're going to do one last stretch quickly for the muscles and the nerves up at our neck. And then we are really getting into those wrists and hands. So take the strap up and over your right shoulder. Once you have the strap up and over your right shoulder, hold the strap in the front with your right hand like you've got yourself in a sling position. And then take the strap with your left hand back and behind you. Now, in this position, allow yourself to gently let your head drop over the strap on the right side. Take a nice deep inhale. As you exhale, pull the strap backwards. It takes all of the fascia, all of the muscles, pulls them back, opens up those nerves, opens up the rib, opens up the neck. Now let's really create some nice opening through those nerves. Take an inhale, lift the head up, and as you exhale, side bend your head to the left. Feeling that stretch in the side of your neck there. Make sure your neck is long and your chin is tucked inward. Take a deep inhale into your belly. And exhaling out. One more breath. Nice deep inhale into the belly. And exhaling out. Beautiful. Inhaling, lifting the head up. And as you exhale, relax the strap. Repeating everything on the opposite side. So take the strap up and over the front of the left shoulder. Wrap it around the left hand in a sling position in the front. Grab the strap behind you on the right side and have a hold of it there. Then once you have all of that positioning, let the head fall up and over the strap on the left side. Okay, take a deep inhale here. Then on the exhale, take that strap and pull it back, feeling that tension of all of those muscles and fascia. Keeping that strap pulled backwards, opening up through those nerves, muscles, and all of those vertebrae of your neck. Now, take an inhale, lift the head up, and as you exhale, side bend over. Oh boy, is that good for your nervous system. Holding yourself right here, take a deep inhale into your belly. Exhaling out. One more time, nice deep inhale into the belly. And exhaling out. You've got an inhale, bringing the head up. As you exhale, relaxing that strap. Taking the strap, we are done with the strap. So taking the strap, holding it up, doing whatever you like with it, and just gently moving it away from your chair and your yoga mat. Now we are getting down to the floor. So let's do a nice, good chair pose, sit to stand, just to move our chair out of our way. And then we'll get down onto the floor. So you should be already in the position, if you are in your chair, to be ready to do chair pose and sit to stand. If you are already down on your yoga mat on your bolster, just transition to hands and knees and we will meet you there in 1 second. Hands across the body here. Allow yourself in this position to take an inhale. Shift your body weight forward. As you exhale, push up into your feet and lift yourself up off of your chair. Find yourself in chair pose. Take a deep inhale here and an exhale here. Beautiful. Then when you're ready, slowly turn yourself to your left or right side. Drop yourself down on one knee. Once you're down on one knee, drop the opposite knee and gently give yourself the opportunity to take your chair and push it out of the way of your yoga mat. You are ready to practice those wrists and those hands. Okay, so let's start in tabletop position with some cat cows. So find yourself with your knees hip distance. That's 2 fists between your knees if you're not quite sure what that is. Take a look back, make sure your feet line up with your knees and your hips stack perfectly on top of your knees. Now take those wrists and place those wrists directly underneath your shoulders, wrists, elbows, shoulders, all in alignment. Look at those index fingers. Those index fingers need to be pointed forward. Spread out those those thumbs. That's what opens up those wrist joints and those carpal bones. Then take those other 3 fingers and spread them on out. Now, in this position today for your cat cows, what I want you to do is lightly push downward into your index fingers and your thumbs. You'll feel that pressure. Then take an inhale, sink your belly, lift your tailbone, squeeze your shoulder blades, lengthen through your neck, gaze upward. Always think about pushing downward and strengthening through those hands. As you exhale, pull that abdomen upward, tuck that tailbone under, spread the shoulder blades, lengthen the neck, chin to chest, gaze into your belly button. Inhaling, sinking the belly, lifting the tailbone, lengthening through the front of that body, squeezing the shoulder blades, gazing upward. Exhaling, tucking that tailbone under, curling that rib cage under, abdomen in, chin to chest. And one more time here. Inhaling, sinking all the way down. Are you still pushing through your index fingers and thumbs and strengthening? And finally, exhaling, tucking and tucking and tucking and tucking. Now, at the very end of your exhale, push yourself back into your child's pose. Settle yourself down onto your heels. We're going to sit in our child's pose for a few moments here and stretch through our hands. So allow yourself for a moment just to drop your elbows down, crown of the head down onto the floor. Gazing back at your toes, take a nice deep inhale into your belly. And then slow exhaling out. Nice deep inhale into the belly. And slow exhaling out. Now we're going to be working through our hands to open up through each of our finger joints, especially for those of you that have had any sort of wrist injuries or any sort of trigger finger or anything like that. So we're going to be staying in the child's pose position. Now, if child's position is not good for you, then allow yourself to try a modification of child's pose. The easiest ones that I find that work are you can take your bolster and you can straddle your bolster for a modification of child's pose. It works really, really well. The benefit of doing that is you can rest your entire belly and chest onto your bolster, but your knees and your ankles are not in end range, hip range of motion. You could also use a yoga block just to place it underneath your pelvis area to support yourself in child's pose. Or if you want to sit and stretch through your ankles, you can allow yourself to rest your sit bones onto your heel bones and just use the bolster in front of you to rest your chest down. Whichever feels the most comfortable for you, find yourself in that position because we are going to be working through stretching through each and every one of our fingers. So rest yourself in a modification of child's pose that feels comfortable for you. Then take your right hand and rest your right hand down into the center of your yoga mat. Now, once you've got yourself into that position, try to rest your elbow down so that your wrist is in a neutral position. We're going to begin with our index finger. So take all of the fingers of your left hand underneath your index finger. Gently spread all of the fingers apart. Take a nice deep inhale and lift that index finger up as high off the yoga mat as you can. Now make sure your palm does not lift off the yoga mat. Take a deep inhale there, and as you exhale, just lower that index finger down. Going to the middle finger, holding the end and the tip of the middle finger, palm and forearm stay resting on your floor. Lengthen your neck, settle your chin. Take an inhale, lift that knuckle nice and high. Maybe you get a pop, maybe you don't, but you're stretching those tendons, preventing trigger finger, ladies and gentlemen. Take a deep inhale into your belly, and then as you exhale, lower that finger down. Take your attention to your right index finger, or ring finger, my apologies. Forearm and palm, keep them resting on your yoga mat. Lengthen your neck, settle your chin. Take an inhale, lift that finger as high as you can. Deep inhale into your belly. And exhale, relaxing that finger down. Finally going to that pinky. Take an inhale, lift that pinky nice and high. Don't let that palm lift. Exhaling, slowly lower that pinky down. Finally going to your thumb. Now make sure your thumb is spread out nice and wide, so much so that you already feel a stretch between the thumb and the index finger. Then take an inhale, lift that thumb up off. I hope you feel that stretch in your palm. As you exhale, lower that palm back down. All right, returning to doing all of that all over again, but on the left hand. So place the left hand down on the center of your yoga mat. Elbow is resting down, palm is flat, wrist is straight. Spread all those fingers out. Let's start with that left first index finger. So take the fingers of your right hand underneath it. Lengthen your neck, settle your chin. Take a nice deep inhale and pick that finger up as high as you can. As you exhale, slowly lowering that finger down. All right, going to the middle finger, fingers underneath it. Nice deep inhale, pick it up. Keep that palm down. Hopefully your joints are popping and getting some length in your tendons. Exhale, lowering that finger down. Ring finger. Allow yourself to keep that forearm and palm downward. Take that inhale, lift that ring finger up. Tendons, I love you today. As you exhale, slowly lower that finger down. Finally, going to that pinky finger. Fingers underneath it, palm in contact with the yoga mat, neck long, chin tucked. Take an inhale, lift that pinky upwards. And then as you exhale, lower it down. Okay, probably the most important one from an arthritis standpoint. Let's get that stretch through that left thumb. So spread the thumb apart from the index finger as much as you can. Hopefully you already feel the stretch between the index finger and the thumb. Keep your palm down. Then take that inhale, lift that thumb upwards until you feel that stretch. And then as you exhale, lower that thumb down. Beautiful job, guys. Okay, bring yourself back up on hands and knees. Just move your bolster off to the side. Take your knees back to hip distance if they were wider. And then once you've got yourself in this position, our fingers are nice and stretched out. And now we just need to go to our wrist joints and our forearms. So find your alignment perfectly of your tabletop position. Check back that your toes and your heels are in alignment. Then take your right hand and turn your right hand 180 degrees. Index finger pointed towards the right knee. Then turn your left hand 180 degrees. Index finger pointed towards your left hand. Do you feel that stretch in your forearms? Straighten through your elbows. Make sure the entire palm is on the floor. Lengthen through your neck. Settle through your chin. Take a deep inhale into your belly. Maybe as you inhale, keep your spine stable. As you exhale, pull your belly up and in. Just one more breath, I promise. Nice deep inhale into the belly. And as you exhale, pull that belly up and in. Beautiful job, guys. Unrotate those forearms. Sit yourself back for a moment. Drop the crown of the head to the floor. Take your wrists and do some nice, beautiful circles with your wrists, clockwise, counterclockwise. You've probably already guessed it. We still have the opposing stretch to do. So find yourself back up into tabletop position. Now, a little bit of advice from the physical therapy world. The stretch that we're going to do right now, which is the best stretch for those of you that have ever had tennis elbow. Please only do one wrist at a time. So let's start with our right wrist. Tabletop position, nothing has changed. Take your right wrist and flip it over like a pancake. As you flip it over, your palm is now facing upwards. Your index finger is pointed towards your left knee. In that position, gently begin to straighten the elbow and gently rotate through the shoulder and elbow as much as you can. Holding that stretch, lengthening your neck, settling your chin, find your tabletop. Take an inhale, let your belly sink. As you exhale, pull your belly up and in. Inhaling, let your belly sink. Exhaling, pulling up and in. Beautiful job. Unrotate that shoulder and elbow. Unrotate or unextend or flex that wrist. Okay, let's do the left one. So same idea. Take that left hand and flip it over into flexion. Check in that that index finger points towards that left knee. Then once you have that, gently begin to straighten through the elbow, gently rotate through the shoulder and the elbow as that elbow crease points to the front of your yoga mat. Okay, lengthen through your neck, settle through your chin. Let's see if we can find that diaphragmatic breath and hold this stretch. Deep inhale into the belly. Exhaling, pulling the belly up and in. We might as well use our abdominals while we're stretching our muscles. Last time here, guys. Inhale into the belly. And exhaling out. Beautiful. Unrotate that. Sit yourself back in child's pose. Do some circles with those wrists. We are about to weight bear on them and find ourselves in downward dog. So let's work on strengthening our wrists in a way that may be different than what you've normally done. Time for those face cloths. Now, what I want you to do with those face cloths is I want you just to fold them lengthwise. When you fold them lengthwise, you'll get about a half an inch, or if you've got a thick face cloth, maybe a little bit more than a half an inch, and then place them on your yoga mat where your hands are going to rest. Now, what that's going to do is it's going to allow you to strengthen through your wrists and your hands, but not be at end range extension. So for those of us that maybe do have nerve tension in our body, you've already felt that, or maybe you've had a past wrist fracture or a hand fracture, this oftentimes is a really good way to work on strengthening your wrists without being at end range. All right, so now, where do you place your hand relative to those towels? You're looking for your carpal ridge. So if you think about the base of your palm, the base of your palm is what you're going to place on those towels. It lets those thumb joints say, thank you very much, but you're able to still push your thumbs down into the towels. So place your thumbs directly on the towels. Then move those index fingers so that they're pointed as far forward as possible. All right. Check in that your hips are directly underneath your knees. We're going into downward dog here. So before you do that, can you look at your elbow creases and see that they're kind of pointed inward towards your thumbs? Then start to push downward into your index fingers and your thumbs. You will feel your entire forearm and shoulders engage as you do that. Turn your toes under. Take an inhale, and as you inhale, push with those index fingers and thumbs and push your hips all the way back. Then as you exhale, slowly straighten the knees and drop the heels. Lengthen your neck, settle your chin. Gaze straight back between your knees. Now, guys, push into your index fingers and thumbs here. Take a deep inhale in and exhaling out. Just one more breath. Deep inhale in and exhaling out. Beautiful. Inhale, shift the weight back, shoulders on top of the wrists. Exhale, drop your knees down. Turn the tops of your toes under. And finally, rest yourself back into that child's pose. Keep the arms nice and straight this time. Lengthen them out as far away from you as you can. Nice little stretch through your latissimus muscles in your shoulders. Take a nice deep inhale into your belly here. And then exhaling out. Slow, deep inhale into the belly and exhaling out. Wonderful job. Now, gently move your towels away from you. Take your bolster and place your bolster so that you can lay on your bolster. Now, obviously, if you don't have a bolster at home, you're using pillows. That's just as fine. But drop yourself in a position that your lumbar spine is nice and supported. And in this position, you're resting on your elbows. Now, resting on your elbows here, make sure that your elbows are directly underneath your shoulders. Forearms straight, parallel with one another. Line up those index fingers with the middle of your wrists and your elbows here. Okay, a little bit of non-resisted strengthening here. We've got gravity against us, so we're doing something, I promise. But allow yourself to rest in this position. Modification of Sphinx pose. Lengthen through the neck, settle through the chin. Can you push into your elbows a little bit and spread your shoulder blades and engage through your trunk? Now, in this position, take an inhale and lift the wrists all the way up. And then as you exhale, push the wrists down and engage. Curl every finger down into the yoga mat. 2 more times here. Inhale, lift the wrists up, index finger as far to the ceiling as you can. Exhale, lower all the way down. Now push every finger down into the mat. Finally, inhaling, lifting nice and high. And then as you exhale, lowering and gripping and pushing and gripping and pushing downward. Relax through your arms, relax through your shoulders, relax through your neck. Okay, let's repeat that with the opposing motion. So take your palms and supinate your forearms, meaning turning your palms upward. Once you do so, allow yourself to get those index fingers to point forward. If your thumbs are tight, meaning you've got some bony changes, you may not be able to get your thumbs to touch the yoga mat here. but try. All right, everything is still in alignment here. Allow yourself to engage through your shoulder blades, lengthen through your neck, settle through your chin. All right, same motion 3 times here. Take an inhale, point the fingertips upwards, strengthening through those flexors. As you exhale, push every finger, but really focus on pushing that thumb downward. Inhale, lifting up. Exhale, pushing down, push that thumb, push that thumb. And one more time, inhaling, lifting those fingertips and wrists up. And exhaling, pushing that thumb down, pushing that thumb down, and pushing that thumb down. Beautiful job. I bet you at home, you even felt your rotator cuff muscles fire if you did that correctly. Okay, finally, we're going to have a little bit of fun with our bolster and play with a modification of downward dog. So push yourself back up into hands and knees. For those of you that have a lot of difficulties with your wrists, so today has been a major challenge with you. You can do anything that you do on your hands and knees using your bolster to support your forearms. So in this position, let's go through a few cat-cows. Wrists are now in their recovery phase. We're done all the hard stuff, guys. Let's just do a couple more poses before we end class. So allow yourself to let those forearms fully rest onto that yoga bolster. Lengthen through your neck, settle through your chin. Find your modification tabletop pose. And let's go to it. So take an inhale, sink your belly, lift your tailbone, squeeze through your shoulder blades, lengthen your neck and look upward. And then as you exhale, pull the abdomen in, tuck the tailbone under, spread through those shoulder blades, chin all the way into your chest. 2 more times, please. Inhaling, sinking, 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 lifting that head, lifting that tailbone. And exhaling, curling everything under, tucking the tailbone, chin, get it to your chest. Get that neck open, guys. Final time here. Inhaling, cow pose. And exhaling, cat pose. Now, very gently, place your hands onto your bolster and just slowly push yourself back into child's pose. Now, don't get your crown of the head onto the floor this time. Just lengthen your arms nice and far out. Just give yourself that little bit of stretch through your upper thoracic spine, upper rib cage, upper area, and shoulders. Turn your thumbs up for me so that those rotator cuff and shoulders are not getting too cranky. Take a deep inhale into the belly and exhaling out. Slow, deep inhale into the belly and exhaling out. All right, we're going to do one last final fun pose. This is not for the wrists and hands. It is how you could accommodate downward dog if you do have a wrist and hand issue. So you could absolutely do this next pose without using your bolster, and you can do it on your yoga mat, but it's fun doing it using your bolster because it engages more of your core muscles. So I want you to try dolphin pose with me. Dolphin pose. So stack your shoulders directly on top of your elbows. Wrists, they've got nothing to do. You can just rest them downward. Lengthen your neck, settle your chin. Check in for a moment, guys, that your hips are directly on top of your knees, and then turn your toes under. Okay, nothing else is different. Everything else is all just like you would do with downward dog. So now in this position, really spread through your shoulder blades, lengthen through your neck, settle through your chin. Brace through your abdominals. Take an inhale, lift those knees up. Exhale, push yourself back. Benefit of doing dolphin pose on a bolster is you can rest the crown of your head onto the bolster. Now, as your hips are back here, maybe take another deep inhale, lift your tailbone up, and as you exhale, settle your heels down. Now, gaze straight back between those feet and knees, guys. Hold yourself right here. See how happy your wrists are? Take a deep inhale into your belly and exhaling out. One more breath, nice deep inhale into the belly. And then as you exhale, shift your weight forward onto the forearms, drop your knees down. Beautiful job. Slowly push your bolster away from you. Lay yourself down on your left or your right side. As you're making your way down onto your left or right side, slowly roll yourself all the way over onto your back. All right, so we've done some great work to open up through our wrists and hands today. We've also done some tremendous work on creating flexibility through our nervous system. So the very last thing we're going to do before we end class is just one exercise to strengthen between our shoulder blades. One of the key reasons we have so many things go wrong with repetitive use injuries with our hands and wrists is because we have poor posture. So we're going to do just one exercise to kind of strengthen up that posture. So keep your knees bent, your feet flat on the floor, pelvis in a neutral position for me. Lengthen through the back of the neck, settle the chin, and then take your arms into goalpost arms. Physical therapy world, we call this pivot prone or W pose. As you place your arms in goalpost arms, allow yourself to have it so that your forearms are running parallel to one another. Elbows are approximately a shoulder height or maybe a little lower, but take your palms and turn them away from you. Thumbs are lifted towards the ceiling. Pinky fingers are touching towards the floor. Now, in this position, if your rib cage is lifted upward, pull your rib cage down, settle it, lengthen the neck, settle the chin. All right, we're going to do this 3 times here. So take an inhale, squeeze between the shoulder blades, push the arms down into the floor. As you exhale, slowly relax. Okay, 2 more times. Inhale, push down with the arms, squeeze between the shoulder blades. Exhale and relax. Final time. Don't let your neck lift. Take an inhale, push the arms downward, squeeze between the shoulder blades. And as you exhale, relax. Beautiful job. Let's take that right knee to our chest, hug around that shin bone, lengthen that left leg straight down the yoga mat. Take a nice deep inhale into your belly, and then as you exhale, pull that knee into your chest. Now lengthen your neck, settle your chin, relax your shoulder blades. Take a deep inhale into your belly here. And then exhaling out. Wonderful. Now take your left hand to your right knee and drop that right foot onto your left thigh. Go ahead and bring that right arm back out into goalpost arm. Take a deep inhale here, and then as you exhale, slowly spinal twist as the right knee goes towards the left. Hip, pelvis, low back, rib cage all begin to rotate. Right shoulder blade stays on the yoga mat. Lengthen through your neck, settle through your chin, and gaze on that right elbow. Take a nice deep inhale into your belly. And exhaling out. Slow, deep inhale into your belly here. And exhaling out. Then slowly unrotate your head. Start at that right shoulder blade and derotate that rib cage, that low back, that pelvis, and that hip. Place the right foot on the floor, slide the left leg up, and then take the left knee to your chest. Hold it with both hands around the shin bone. Slide the right leg down. Nice deep inhale into your belly, and as you exhale, pull that left knee into your chest. Lengthen your neck, settle your chin. Take a slow, deep inhale into your belly here. And exhaling out. Nice, slow, deep inhale into the belly. And exhaling out. All right, so take the right hand to the left knee, left foot to the right thigh, left hand out in goalpost position. Nice deep inhale here. Then as you exhale, pull that left knee to the right. Feeling that opening through the hip, pelvis, low back, rib cage, left shoulder blade. Keep it engaged onto the yoga mat. And then lengthen your neck, settle your chin. Turn your gaze towards that left elbow. Take a deep inhale into your belly here. And exhaling out. Slow, deep inhale into the belly. And exhaling out. And then gently unrotate that head. Start at that left shoulder blade and derotate. Rib cage first, low back, pelvis, hip. And then place the left foot on the floor. Slide the right leg up. Let's take both those knees to our chest just one quick time. One little opening through that low back. Maybe a little rock and roll for you today of that pelvis and low back. Nice deep inhale into your belly and then exhaling out. Deep inhale into the belly and exhaling out. Beautiful. Slowly, one foot at a time, place it down onto the floor. Keep your abdominals engaged, spine stable. Lower the legs, one leg at a time to the corners of your mat. Roll your shoulders underneath you, straighten your elbows, place your arms out and away from you. Lengthen through your neck, settle through your chin, tongue to the roof of your mouth, gently close your eyes. Well, let's not stay so still in Savasana today. Let's do a nice, gentle mindfulness exercise through our fingers, since we did such beautiful work for our wrists and our hands today. So let's take an inhale and touch our thumb to our index finger. And then as you exhale, spread your thumb and index finger nice and wide away from one another. And take an inhale. Middle fingers touch the thumbs on each side. And then as you exhale, spread that middle finger and thumb nice and far away. Ring fingers and thumbs, let them touch one another on the inhale. And on the exhale, spread them nice and far away. And finally, inhale, pinky touching that thumb. And exhaling, spreading that pinky and that thumb far, far away. Let your hands fully rest. Let your fingers and thumbs fully relax. Take a slow inhale into your belly. And exhaling out. Just one more breath. Deep inhale in. And exhaling out. And then gently begin to wiggle your fingers and your toes, circles with those wrists and those ankles. When you're ready, start sliding those legs up one at a time. Gently bend those elbows, roll yourself over on your left or right side. Rest yourself there for a moment and allow a couple of breaths to happen. And then when you're ready, on an exhalation, bottom elbow, top hand, push yourself up into a seated position and find yourself in easy pose. As you're placing yourself in easy pose, let's bring those hands back to where we began with our wrists and hands. Anjali Mudra, prayer pose. Lengthen your neck, settle your chin. Tongue to the roof of the mouth and smile on your face. Take a nice deep inhale into your belly. And exhaling out. Namaste. The highest in me salutes the highest in you. Thank you for joining me today.